Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 10th webinar of our series. Before we start our webinar, I would like to give you a brief about ProTutor. So ProTutor was founded in April 2020 by Ms. Khyati Dutt, and this platform is to connect students and tutors for dedicated group sessions or individual sessions. Here we are not bounding tutors or students to connect on any specific platform. You can connect on Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, anything that you feel like comfortable on. This platform aims towards personalized learning for each and every child. A brief introduction of our team. This is Ms. Khyati Dutt. She is a mother of two, and by profession, she is a workspace designer. ProTutor has been her braille child, and it all started because she personally was finding it difficult to find good tutors for her own child. And the problems you are facing was mainly because of flexibility of timings, the requirements as per her needs, not the tutor's requirement, and tutors those who can work specifically with the requirements of her child. Is Mr. Gaurang Patel. He has 17 years of experience in different technologies like blockchain, IoT, artificial intelligence. He is our head of engineering. As myself, I am Amod Gupta. I have more than 10 years of experience in education field in different profiles, and I am also guiding students to make career choices, how they can choose options in different career streams and other things. He is Mr. Smith Patel. He's having 1 years of experience into software development. And now this was a brief introduction of a small team. I would now like to invite today's panelist, Ms. Anushri, to take up and start the presentation. Anushri, please start.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am Anushi Maheshwari from Bhopal, the panelist of the day. I have done my master's in English as well as in education. I am in the teaching profession from past 16 years and presently working with one of the renowned school of Bhopal. I never treat my students as students, rather love them as a mother. So, everything comes out from my heart. My teaching philosophy focuses on students' success through various innovative ways. I strongly believe that education is the key to success for young students. So I always motivate my students in increasing their inner thoughts, strength, abilities, and of course, discovering what truly inspires them. I hope we will have a wonderful time together. That's all about me. Now, let's come to the topic. It's very well said that never stop learning. For when we stop learning, we stop growing. So, today we will be learning parts of speech. Words are divided into different kinds of classes called parts of speech. The parts of speech are 8 in number. So, first of all, let's start from the basic of English words. What is a word? Word means of various alphabets. If we say A to Z, A, B, C, D, E, and so on. Let's take a letter P. Let's take a letter P. So it's a letter. Now we'll make a word through letter P. Let's say play. It's a word. P a letter, play a word. Now this play, we are going to change it into a sentence. I play with my friends. So letter changes to word, then word to sentence. Now, suppose if we have to write a lot on play, then what we are writing is maybe called a speech or an article and so on. So, words are divided into different kinds of classes called parts of speech, and there are 8 parts of speech in number. Now, they are noun, adjective, pronoun, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection. So it's just a brief description about all the parts of speech. Rather, I'm going to elaborate it. Noun. A noun is a name of a person, place, or thing. It can be any person. I, Anushri, place, Bhopal, thing, table. I'm sitting on a chair. So what we will do, we will just take the live examples. Adjective. An adjective is a word used to add something to the meaning of a noun. An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. Adjective is a word used to add to the meaning of a noun. If I say, suppose I say, Rosh is a boy, I'm not adding any quality to Rosh. I'm just saying Rosh is a boy. But if I say Rosh is an intelligent boy, it means I am adding a quality of intelligent to Rosh. So Rosh is an intelligent boy. What is intelligent here? Adjective. A pronoun is a word used instead of a noun. Just now I take the example of Rosh. Say, Rosh is a boy, Rosh is an intelligent boy, Rosh likes to play football, Rosh loves to sing. Again and again, again and again, I'm using the same word noun, that is Rosh. So instead of again and again using the same word Rosh, I can use pronoun. What it said, a pronoun is a word used instead of a noun. So Rosh is a boy. It's okay. Because for the first time, first sentence, we have to call by his name. Then Rosh is a boy. He likes to play. He likes to sing. Whatever we are saying about Rosh, we will use pronoun he. Got it? Now, verb. A verb is a word used to express an action or state. A verb, words that show what someone or something does. Suppose take the pronoun I. I will write a letter. So what I will do, what I am going to do, I am going to write a letter. So what is right here? Verb. An adverb is a verb used to add something to the meaning of a verb, an adjective, or another word, adverb. Just now I said I write letter. This is write is verb here. But if I say I write letter slowly. So what is slowly here? Slowly is adverb. It means it is used to add something to the meaning of a verb. Preposition. A word that shows the relation of one thing with another in a sentence is called a preposition. Preposition shows the relation of one thing to another. I am sitting on a table. So it shows the relationship of mine with a table. And what is preposition here? On. Conjunction. A conjunction is a word used to join words or sentences. Suppose you like tea and you like coffee, both the things. Then you are saying, I like tea, I like coffee. You know, it sounds not so good. So you can say, I like tea and coffee. So what is conjunction here? Conjunction is and here. It join words or sentences. I like tea and coffee. Instead of saying, I like tea, I like coffee. Interjection. An interjection is a word which expresses some sudden feeling. Expresses some sudden feeling. Wow, what a beautiful dress. Hooray, we won the match. So what it is? It shows some sudden expression, feeling. Now, let's start from sentence. Basic. A group of words which makes complete sense is called a sentence. A sentence always begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, comma, or question mark. See, as we discussed about words, and the words, when they are arranged properly in a proper sequence, is called a sentence. You just see the example. He was trying to appease his hunger. So he was trying to just get relief from his hunger. So you are getting some meaning from it, that he is trying to get relief from his hunger. But if I say trying, was, his, to appease hunger, are you getting any sense from it? No. But we are using words, then also we are not getting any sense, because the words which I said just now, trying, appease, to, his, hunger, are not properly arranged. So words which makes complete sense is called a sentence. And remember, It always starts with a capital letter and ends with a question mark if it is a question, full stop if it is just a statement, exclamatory mark if it shows some sudden expression. Now, kinds of sentences: declarative or assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, exclamatory sentence. Now, a brief explanation. Kinds of sentences, as I said, declarative or assertive sentence. A sentence that makes a statement. It's a statement, a belief, or maybe a forceful statement. My favorite color is red. I am Anushri. Even it's a statement. So, statement, the sentence which makes a statement is called a declarative or assertive sentence. Interrogative sentence. A sentence that asks a question is called interrogative. Sentence which shows a question is there. How are you? Where are you from? What is your name? These are all interrogative sentences. And remember, we have to end interrogative sentence after putting a question mark. Imperative sentence. A sentence that expresses a command or a request is called an imperative sentence. It can be a command or it can be a request. Close the door, sit down, come inside. These are what? These are command or can be a request also. So it's an imperative sentence. Exclamatory sentence. A sentence that expresses a strong feeling is called an exclamatory sentence, as I told you. Wow, what a beautiful dress. Ouch, it hurts. So what it is? It expresses strong feeling. Now, subject and predicate. When we make a sentence, we name some person or thing and we speak about that person or thing. The part which names the person or thing we are speaking is called the subject of, and the part which tells something about the subject is called the predicate. Say, it's a sentence of 6, 7 lines. In short, I'll explain you. When we make a sentence, we talk about some person or thing. So, about whom we are talking is a subject, and what we are talking about, that person is a predicate. Say, Yuan loves to do skating. So, about whom I am talking? I am talking about Yuan. So, what is Yuan here? Yuan is a subject. And I said loves to do skating. So, what I am speaking about Yuan loves to do skating will be a predicate. If I said Jack is an honest boy. So about whom I am speaking? I am speaking about Jack. So Jack is subject here, and whatever I am speaking about Jack will be a predicate. Now comes the phrase and the clause. See, this is what we are discussing, just the basics of English. We have not started to the parts of speech. Phrase. Group of words which make sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. A phrase is a group of words without the subject verb combination. Phrase means which makes sense. We are getting some sense, but not the complete sentence, but not the complete sense. And remember, it's a group of words without the subject verb combination. Means neither subject will be there nor combination, or nor verb will be there. As I said, in the east. What is there in the east? Are you getting any sense? We are getting some sense, but not the complete sense. So, as I told you, phrase is a group of words without the subject verb combination. In the east, neither subject is there nor verb is there. In the east, if I say, uh, I walk in the east. So, about whom I am talking? I am talking about I. That is subject here. And verb is walk. So, that will be a complete sense. But which makes sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. Now, types of phrases. In the east, it shows the position in preposition phrase. Long hair, adjective, quality of someone, long. Really slow, adverb, slow. Smallest animal, noun, animal. Now, clause. A group of words with a subject verb agreement. Now, phrase without a subject verb agreement, clause with a subject verb agreement. The girl wrote a letter to her cousin You're getting full sense from this that the girl wrote a letter to her cousin. So about whom we are talking? We are talking about the girl and what she is doing, what she does, wrote. So the subject is girl, the girl, and verb is wrote. That is clause. Clause means a group of words with a subject verb agreement. Subject will be there, even verb will be there. Now, types of clauses. Independent clause, sentence with a subject and a verb. Independent clause and dependent clause. In independent clause, sentence will be there with a subject and a verb. You can see David wrote a letter. What is subject here? David. What is verb here? Wrote. So it's an independent clause. Dependent clause, it cannot be a sentence when Rosario came home. It has a subject and even a verb, but no complete sentence, but no complete sense. Dependent clause is there. See how dependent? Because we are not getting, it cannot be a sentence, but no complete sense. When Rosario came home, what happened when Rosario came home? When Rosario came home, it's incomplete. Although it has a subject and a verb. Subject, Rosario, came, verb. Now we come to the first parts of speech, that is noun. A noun is the name of a person, place, or thing, as I already told you. It can be any name, any person, any place, or thing. Now, kinds of noun. There are 9 kinds of noun: common noun, proper noun, abstract noun, collective noun, countable noun, uncountable, compound, singular, and plural. Now, common name, common noun. Common noun is a name given in common to every person or thing of the same class or kind. After just by just reading the name, it's clear common noun. It's the name given in common to everyone. If I say girl, I'm not specifically talking about any particular girl. Girl can be any girl. Table, it can be any table. Book, it can be any book. It can be English, it can be math, it can be history, it can be novel, it can be storybook, any book. So, common noun is the name given in common to every person or thing of the same class or kind. Proper noun. A proper noun is the name of some particular person or place. Now, if I talk about some particular person, Resham, it means I'm talking about some particular person. Proper. London, I'm talking about some particular place. London. Wooden table, brown table, plastic table. I'm talking about some particular thing. So that will be a proper noun. Proper noun is the name of some particular person. If I say boys are playing, I don't know about which boys I'm talking. But if I say Yuan and Rishan are playing, it means I'm talking about some particular boys. Now, abstract noun, something that you cannot perceive with your 5 senses. Abstract noun, something which you cannot touch, which you cannot see, which you cannot perceive with your 5 senses. Love, anger, pride, joy, etc. These are all abstract nouns which we cannot touch, which we cannot see. Is it possible for us to touch anger? No. So, abstract noun, something that you cannot perceive with your 5 senses. Collective noun. Collective noun refer to a group of things as one whole. Example, students, bunch, audience, etc. It refer to a group of things as a whole, all together. Students, bunch of flowers, audience. This is what? This is all collective noun. Countable noun. The names of objects, people, etc. that we can count. Countable noun means which we can count. I can see book. I can count. There are 2 books in my hand. So it is countable noun. Boy, I can count how many boys are there. Mango, I have 5 mangoes. So the name of objects, people, etc., which we can count. Uncountable noun. The names of things that we cannot count. Oil. Is it possible for us to count oil? No. We can just we can take in terms of measure like sugar 1 kg, but it's not possible for us to count. Water, rice, it's uncountable noun. The names of things that we cannot count. Compound noun. It is made up of 2 or more smaller words. Example, mother in law. It is made up of 2 or more smaller words. Mother, one word. In, second word. Law, third word. So it's mother-in-law. Compound noun are made up of two or more smaller words. School bag, textbook. These are what? These are all compound noun. Now singular noun, very simple, refer to one person, place or thing. Singular noun. If I talk just about one person, place or maybe thing, it's a singular noun. I'm talking about dog, just a one dog. Apple, just one apple. So it's singular. But if I say plural, plural noun refer to more than one person, place or thing. I said dog, singular, dogs. Apple, apples. Men, M-A-N, men, men, M-E-N, men. Woman, W-O-M-A-N, women, W-O-M-E-N. So these are what? These are plural nouns. So that's all for today. Since it's not possible for me to cover all the parts of speech together in one. So it's the basics of grammar and the noun. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Anushri. It was a wonderful session. Now I would request if any there are few questions in the question and answer, please answer those questions. And I would request all other attendees, if anybody has any type question, they can please ask their queries.
Okay, what do you focus on while teaching? Main focus. My main focus will be like I will be covering grammar, literature, and definitely the speaking skills. And its main focus will be just I will just take the live examples. English is not a language which where we have to cram. It's not something mugging up.
There is one more question, Anushri.
Yes. What does subject word combination means? Subject word combination means it's a subject when we are taking with a subject, and in any sentence subject and a word combines. Like if I say, if a subject is there, as I said the example Riddhi with a proper sentence will be a subject word combination.
We'll wait for a few more minutes. If
Yes.
somebody has any question, we'll answer those. Anushri, I think there is one more question.
Yes, how you manage or control student in online class. This is what I'm doing from like past 10 months. It's not difficult to manage or to just to engage them, just to give them a chance to speak, solve their queries. That's it. Just give them a few tasks. They'll do it. They'll enjoy and they enjoy.
If anyone has any more queries, we request you to please shoot it out. I think that's it. So thank you everyone for joining. It at any point of time, if you have any queries, you can directly write to us. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining, and thank you, Anushri. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. Thank you guys.